Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It's Sunday, May 4th, and we are here trying to help you make sense of everything going on in your financial life. The we is me. I'm your co-host, Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, a certified financial planner as well. And my co-host is Mark Talercio, who is also a certified financial planner. But Mark, that's like the next line on your resume. Really, you're just the man who makes all of my stuff happen. The executive producer of both this program as well as the Jill on Money podcast, the Jill on Money radio show. Mark runs the Jill on Money website. And hey, Mark, tell me what's going on behind the paywall. How much of that, all those cool videos that we shot last year, are those up yet, or some portion of them? No pressure, dude. No pressure.
Yeah, I would say probably half of them are there at this point. There's not much more to do because I'm not putting everything up there. But from what is going up, yeah, I would say we're halfway done.
That's amazing. How did you know how to do that?
You fake it till you make it, I guess.
I guess. Very impressive. Mark just does everything that I'm unwilling to do. And I'm always offering you the ability to hire someone to do it. And what he normally will say is, I'll figure it out. And he does. That's why you're the best executive producer in the whole wide world. So, Mark, how are you doing today? It's the beginning of May. The month of April is over. What can you tell us about the first 4 months of the year? What's the word of the first 4 months of the year for you?
The word of the first 4 months, would that be tariff?
I was going to say uncertainty.
Or chaos?
Chaos is good. Chaos, uncertainty, all of that. We don't process uncertainty and chaos very well, human beings. We just don't. Friend of the show, Ben Carlson, he's one of the guys at Ritholtz Wealth Management. He co-hosts a couple of podcasts over there. One is called Animal Spirits. He did a post recently that was so true. It's like when you're in the depths of a terrible sell-off, what happens is you never think it's going to be okay again. And conversely, when things are booming, like in January and early February, you know what happens? You never think anything bad can happen. That's why during the month of April, we put up on the website a blog post that explains why market timing does not work. And I know you want it to work. Of course you want it to work. I mean, think about this. Who wouldn't want someone to tell you when the market is going to be topping out and when it's going to be bottoming out? But guess what? No one can do that. And I'm sorry about that, but it's just the deal that nobody knows what's going to happen in the short term. Over the longer term, if you can persevere, if you can stick to your game plan, people are usually rewarded. Mark, it is funny. I did go back through all of our questions that we got when you send me our questions of the day. And I went back to December and January, and I went and revisited some of those questions. Boy, that was so much fun when people were really, their biggest problem was, I don't want to sell my blankety blank, fill in the blank of whatever you don't want to sell. Don't want to sell that because I don't want to pay capital gains taxes. Well, remember those questions? Weren't those cute?
Those taxes are looking a little bit lower now.
Yeah. Like, oh, well, you don't have to pay as much capital gains when your position is down by 20 or 30%. Here's the thing, gang. I am not this huge believer that anyone knows better. I do know that when we erect guardrails that protect us from ourselves, we are much better served. So those guardrails are always making sure you cover your big three, that you've got 6 to 12 months of your living expenses in a safe place, that you're paying down your high interest debt, that you are contributing to your retirement account, especially if you have a match, to the best of your ability. I think I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. Whatever money you think you're going to need in the next year, maybe even 2 years, don't have it invested in anything that can go down. So I don't want to hear from the 60, 70, 80-year-olds who are whining now and saying, oh my God, I'm so scared, when they have been fully invested with money they knew that they were going to need within the next year or two. I know that we are human beings. We are lured in by the greedy aspect of a bull market, of when things are great. And we are then punished when things turn and we never think it's going to be good again and you never think you should invest. I don't know anything more than you know, and neither does anyone else. What I do know is if you stick to some of these very simple and tried and true approaches to managing your financial life, you will reduce the amount of crying, pain, anxiety. Doesn't mean it's going to be less scary. It means that you can feel more confident that you can survive. And that, gang, that is very, very important. All right. Done with my proselytizing, Mark. Can we go to the caller, please? Please.
Moving on.
Moving on. Sean is on the line with us. He's in Southern California. Sean, you're not a whiner, are you? I can tell already.
I hope not to be.
Really, I know, because otherwise, what are you going to do? Sean, what can we do for you today?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be on the show.
Of course.
I am a 47-year-old single earner, married with 2 children. Based on everything I've read, I feel like I have a solid foundation saved for retirement. But with everything that's going on right now, I just really don't feel financially secure. Mm-hmm. I feel like if I can make it to retirement, I'll be okay. But
but it could be a long 10, 15, 20 years, couldn't it?
Exactly. And that's causing some angst.
Okay. I get that. Sometimes the way I reduce my anxiety is to just look at the numbers, just straight up. So you said you're 47 years old, you're married, but your spouse doesn't work, right?
Correct.
Okay. How old's your spouse?
47 as well.
Okay, great. And how old are the kids?
15 and 10.
Sean, how much do you earn?
About $250,000 a year.
Do you work in a place that has a retirement plan?
Yes, I do.
401k?
Yes.
Okay. How much do you contribute to the 401k?
About $20,000 a year out of my own contributions.
Okay. How much money's in there right now?
In the total of all of my 401ks, I have about $1.1 million.
Meaning you have some old stuff floating around or some IRA rollovers?
Correct.
Okay. You feel secure as you might, as anyone can feel. Do you feel secure in this current job?
Well, I am in technology, and with the advances of technology and AI, I don't feel quite secure in my current role.
Yeah, I get that. I've heard this from a lot of people, so I can appreciate it. But you have saved a chunk of money, and that's great. So of that $1.1 million, again, current 401k, old 401ks, all that, is any of that Roth or is it all traditional?
I would say 98% of that is traditional.
Okay. Do you have money that's invested outside of the retirement structure?
I do. I have an active account. It's about at $38,000 worth, and I also have a stock plan, an employee stock plan that I have about $30,000 of company stock in.
Okay, got it. And that comes up and is available to sell at a periodic basis because you keep, is that right? Or is that not how it works?
The majority of that can be sold, yes.
Okay, got it. And do you have money that's just plain old in the bank? So the $38,000 in a brokerage, the stock plan's 30. Any money, just slush fund, emergency reserve money?
Yep. I have about $24,000 in a high yield savings account for emergencies, and I have about another $10,000 in T-bills.
Okay, great. Have you started saving money for the kids college-wise or not?
I do. In their 529 plans, I have about 20 in each for each child.
Okay, but we hope they go to some UC school because it is cheaper, right?
That is the hope.
Do you guys own your home?
Yes.
What's it worth, do you think?
Probably about 1.2.
And do you have a mortgage that's outstanding on it, Sean?
Yes. I have about $270,000 left on the mortgage.
What's the interest rate?
I refied during COVID, so it's at 2.67.
Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Okay. So right now, given everything you've told us, how's your cash flow? How's you are, like you said, I get the uncertainty over work and I get the uncertainty over the markets, but when you look at your just month to month bills, are you able to pay stuff? Is everything pretty on track right now?
Yeah, I don't have any other debt. I pay off my credit cards every month, but I am, money in, money out is my situation at this point.
Do you guys have life insurance also? Because since you are this primary wage earner, do you have your life insurance in place?
Yep. For both and my wife, yes.
How much?
For myself, I believe my policy is about 1.1, and for my wife, it's about 600,000.
Okay, got it. So those of you listening know that this Money Watch show, we sort of like to focus on people who are still in their financial journey, not the people who are like, I've made it. You may hear $1.1 million and you may hear $250,000 and you may think, oh my God, this guy is not like me. However, I can attest to the fact that Sean and his wife live in an expensive state and an expensive area in the state. So all this money that's locked in the equity of their home, can't get it. And the fact that you've got a bunch of money in your 401k, it's great. But like, as you said, at a $250,000 a year salary or comp, you're not living large. There's not tons of money. Are you putting money on an ongoing basis into the 529 accounts, or is the only money you're really putting in on a methodical basis, is that just the retirement account?
I do contribute about $3,000 into the 529 accounts.
A month or a year?
No, a year.
I was like, oh my God, where's that coming from? Okay, yeah. $3,000 a year. Okay. Each or total?
Total.
Okay, Mark, let's presume Sean and his wife have the ability to continue, and he's lucky enough to keep his job. How do you think they're doing relative to sort of going ahead with their retirement? In other words, how much you spend on a monthly basis, Sean? Like, forgetting about the money you're saving, what do you think you spend? What's your expenses?
For necessities, I have about $500 per month in expenses, and then discretionary, I budgeted about another $1,700 a month.
What do you mean? That doesn't include your mortgage.
Under necessities, the $5,500, that does include my mortgage.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know what? I didn't hear 5,500.
Yeah, he said 500. That's what I'm like, what? 500.
And we're like, what? Okay. So 5,500, 6,500. So like $8,000 a month is basically the number, right?
We do spend quite a lot eating out, and largely that accounts for most of my discretionary monthly spending.
So, Mark, how should we think about this? 7,200, the 5,500 plus 1,700. I rounded it up to 8,000 a month, and that's probably the right number, right? How do you think they're doing given a $1.1 million saved? A little bit in the brokerage and the stock plan. Let's not really include that. But what do you think?
I'm not concerned. I mean, I think they're doing everything that they can do. Like you said, they live in a high cost of living area, making good money, but that money doesn't go that far where he lives. I mean, he's damn near close to maxing out his 401k. So if he keeps doing that for the next, 10, 12, 15 years, he's going to have $3 million when retirement age rolls around. Plus Social Security. I don't know what the long-term plan is for the house, if they plan on selling and capturing a lot of that equity. I don't know. But, he's doing what he can do, and they're in good shape.
Right. So I'm not sure. I understand you having anxiety because if you're in tech, everybody I know in tech has anxiety. Everybody. Unless you're like the AI engineer. But is there something you can do to shift your area of expertise towards AI, something that you could embrace to get there, or not really? I mean, I'm talking like about something I know nothing about. So I'm just asking that question generally.
Yeah. Continuing education has always been something that I've thought about, but never have taken advantage of. And my concern is that, during that transition, I won't be able to keep up with my, current level of living, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look, if you're really freaked out about where things stand, as you said, I'm just quoting you back. I'm not telling you that to do this. I'm just saying, you said, well, we eat out a lot. We do a few things. If you're starting to feel a little bit anxious about where things are, you might want to stockpile a little bit more money, number one, and make sure that you are doing that on a methodical basis. I don't think you should stop putting money into the 529. I do have one idea around the money in the brokerage and the stock plan. What's in that brokerage account? Is it just like stock from an old, or is it a fund money account? What is in there?
Yeah, in the active brokerage account, it is basically, stocks that, I try to pick for fun to try to beat the market, so to speak.
How'd you do with that?
On up markets, I generally do about 1 to 2 percentage points better than the S&P 500. But on down years such as this, I significantly underperform.
So in other words, you might say that at best, you're meeting market movements over the course of a longer time horizon. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I would think that would be fair.
Okay. How about this for fair? How about we blow out of that brokerage account? Just get out of it. Take your lumps, pay the tax it's due, and how about you take the money and you just shove it into those 529 accounts? Okay. How do you feel about that when I say that? I
do enjoy watching, the market gyrations go up and down with the accounts, but to me, that makes better financial sense.
It really does. Can you, you've just had an interesting ride. I mean, can you get a hobby? In other words, no, just kidding. I mean, there's two things you can do. You need more money in those 529 accounts. You just do. I think you know that. Between the stock plan and the actively traded account, I think that if you were to really focus and let's say we add everything up, right? You've got $1.1 million, which is, as you said, mostly traditional. So it's not even 1.1. It's probably more like in California, after you take your money out and you pay your tax, probably more like 800,000. Okay. If I said to you, what amount of money would you want to use to quote unquote play with? I don't think it would be 40 grand for me, or I really don't. I think it would be some smaller number. Could you have some more fun just doing it with $8,000 or $10,000 and take 30 grand from that active brokerage account and then put the money into each of the kids' accounts? Could you do that? I would feel like, although it's not quite as much fun, it is a more prudent decision because, by the way, the money that goes into those 529 accounts, kids are going to go to college, right? That money's not going to get taxed. You're not going to beat no tax when it comes to investing. Okay. So whatever you think you're going to do over time, that's better than the market in up or down markets, which I think we both acknowledge is probably just doing market return. I'm thinking that maybe you could have just as much fun playing around with 8 or 10 grand as you would with 40 grand. So that's the one thing that I point out to you. And the other thing is that in the stock plan, I would be quite methodical about making sure that money is sold on some periodic basis. So I get a certain amount of stock. I'm going to sell a certain amount, because if you have risk in being a tech employee, then you have risk in being a tech stock owner. And then we're sort of doubling down on the risk. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I think those are the things that pop out. You should keep doing what you're doing. You don't want to pay down that house anytime soon. But I think that being a little bit more methodical about getting money into the kids' accounts, watching the spending a little bit. If you feel like you're a little bit out of control, then pull it back just in case. And then, of course, do what you need to do to try to upskill yourself, because that's going to be, I think, a way. Even if it does not solve the problem, you will feel better for actually trying to do something proactively. That, I think. Mark, is there anything else that Sean and his wife should be doing right now?
No, like I said, they're doing all that they can do, and they have a pretty solid foundation right now.
A very solid foundation. So I don't want you to take this as this is bad. Everything is fine. Everything is good. So I think if you could essentially just take a little bit of the nip and tuck here and there and start doing something instead of trading and for fun, like upskilling, you'll feel better about where you are. It's like whenever people are nervous about their job security, I say, go out and start networking, go out and start getting new skills. It may not help you avoid a job loss, but it will make you feel a little bit better that you're doing something proactive. So, Sean, do you have any other questions for us?
No, thank you. This is exactly what I was looking for. So I really appreciate your thoughts, Jill, and your thoughts, Mark, as well.
We really appreciate that you were joining us today. And if anyone listening to this is like Sean, maybe not in such a high cost of living area, no matter what's going on in your life, if you have a question, go to jillonmoney.com, click the contact us button, write us a note. If you want to join us live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday. And you can also check out all the other stuff that lives on the website. All of our content is there. We have a sister broadcast that is called Jill on Money. We have a radio show, a blog, resources. Everything is at jillonmoney.com. So maybe just bookmark that site. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Mark Tlaers here is the co-host and executive producer of this and all of the programs out there that are Jill on Money related. He also runs the jillonmoney.com website. We drop our episodes on this show every Saturday and Sunday. It's Weekends with Jill and Mark. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And as always, we like to encourage you to try to lift someone up. Someone needs a little boost today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.